Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope that you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Welcome back for another weekend edition, if you will, where I go over some of the news that we missed during the week, because there's always so much news happening in the cryptocurrency space. I can't cover all of it, so I cover it during the weekend. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Malta's Prime Minister Joseph Muscat has used his platform at the UN to speak out on the potential of blockchain and cryptocurrency, calling them an inevitable part of a digital future. In a speech at the general debate of the 73rd session of the General Assembly of the UN on September 27th, Muscat raised Malta's move to set up as a blockchain island and said that the nation is the first jurisdiction worldwide to regulate the technology that previously existed in a large or legal vacuum. As reported by CoinDesk, Malta's parliament passed 3 bills regarding cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and distributed ledger technology, or DLT, back in June. Since then, a number of cryptocurrency-focused firms, including the Binance exchange, has moved to set up business entities on the island, with some agreeing partnerships with Malta's stock exchange. In the speech, which had been previously addressed issues such as immigration, Muscat continued to take a bullish tone on the technology, and he said, blockchain makes cryptocurrencies the inevitable form of money, more transparent since it helps filter good businesses from bad businesses. We're now in a situation where a lot of government leaders are starting to come forward. I told you this months ago we were going to see a bit of a shift, and I'm glad that it's already happening right now, because it makes me hopeful that the next couple of months will be great for the cryptocurrency space. I can't really explain it other ways than that. A lot of countries are I was watching something yesterday and it was really interesting. I didn't even realize that I think like 7 or 8 countries, like, crypto is completely banned, and they're like well-known countries as well. And now we have a lot of other countries who have taken the leap forward, and they have made sure that their country is at the forefront of everything crypto and everything blockchain, to make sure that they are more or less getting all the funds that other countries would be getting. And a lot of enterprises and entities and networks and companies and crypto startups have all announced that they're actually moving to Malta because they are the friendliest. And we also had a couple of other countries who are also being moved to as well. But I still believe that the countries that jump on this first are going to be some of the ones that'll probably be the richest in the entire world within the next couple of years, especially if we actually do see the scenario where crypto becomes a multi-trillion-dollar marketplace. Yeah. So it's always nice to hear from a world leader, I'll put it that way, talk about cryptocurrencies in a positive light, because so many of the other ones, they don't get it, they don't want to get it, and it becomes a little bit frustrating when they say things that they said in 2014, and it's like everyone else has moved on except for other countries. But let's move on. So this is... okay, San Francisco-based cryptocurrency exchange and wallet service Coinbase is finishing negotiations that would value the company at $8 billion. Technology news site Recode reported on the 2nd of October, citing anonymous sources, because they're always anonymous, familiar with the matter. Recode states that Coinbase is in talks with Tiger Global and its shareholders regarding a possible $500 billion investment. I'm going to assume that that is not a typo. The sources reportedly said that Coinbase would add $250 billion to the treasury, while another $250 million or billion, I think there might be a typo here, could be slated for buying out existing investors. Tiger Global Management is an investment firm founded in 2011 that invests globally in both private and public markets. Galaxy Digital crypto investment firm CEO Michael Novogratz said the news about the reported negotiation proved that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin were more than just tulip mania. CNBC quoted Novogratz at the Economist Finance Disrupted conference on Tuesday. He said, "Here's the poster child, Coinbase, of the cryptocurrency space, worth $8 billion. That's a real company. And Tiger's not a flake of an investor. These are smart, savvy guys," end quote. I still think, or rather, we know for a fact that Coinbase is trying to not only get their banking license, but also get their security license. We are seeing something happening that we aren't in the room for. There are a lot of negotiations happening around Coinbase. I once upon a time thought that Coinbase was going to not disappear, but that they wouldn't be as big in the industry, especially in 2018. I didn't see them really not lasting this long, but You know what I'm trying to say. So the point is, right now, as they are one of the most regulated, if not possibly the most regulated exchange that exists in the United States and maybe even around the world, who knows, they're receiving an immense amount of funding, and other companies valuing them at $8 billion, especially if they've been around for not that long, and especially as crypto is still relatively new, and receiving a possible $500 billion investment. Something is going to happen with them very soon, and I am at the point where I believe that not only will Coinbase become like our new version of banks, but they'll probably be, I don't see Coinbase going anywhere anytime soon, and the amount of attention that they have floating around them is absolutely astronomical. They're not a bad exchange. I just, wish they would add more coins, but I think that may be like my only gripe with them, so I can't really shun them for that much longer. So, just to touch on this and talk about it a tiny bit because it's making headlines. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro has appeared on national television to announce the official launch of the national cryptocurrency, the Petro. According to a brief summary on his speech posted on Venezuela's government website on the 1st of October, that was last Monday, Maduro stated that the official website for the Petro has already been launched, and the official Petro wallet is also available in Google Play. However, the public sale will only start on the 5th of November, if I'm not mistaken, and that has already passed. Maduro also stressed the Petro will be available on 6 major crypto exchanges starting on Monday. The Venezuelan president did not specify which ones will eventually trade oil-backed currency, nor will it be listed, nor was it listed by large traders according to CoinMarketCap, such as Binance, OKEX, and Huobi at the time. I don't expect any of these to actually list it. First of all, we had news a couple of weeks ago that the way that we've received the news, I am not in Venezuela, so I can only say it that way. The way that I've seen the news is that this was announced quite a while ago, that this was actually already a thing, that they were more or less the first country in the world who had created their own cryptocurrency, and that it was already being adopted and used, as he had mandated that many people had to use it many, many moons ago. Turns out during not even documentaries, just news stories and stuff like that, with people walking around the country asking people how they feel about using the new cryptocurrency. None of them had heard about it because they said that it wasn't real, that it didn't actually exist. And now we have news that apparently, after all that time, even we had heard before that he had mandated its use many months ago, apparently now it's finally going on sale in November. And on top of that exact same topic, we have news, without even reading into it, that apparently the white paper for their coin apparently copied Dash multiple times. I don't even have well, I guess I can scroll down a tiny bit to show you some of the things that they had inside of it. Apparently, it was almost taken directly from Dash. Nearly everything, not everything, but a large amount of it was taken from it. This is going to be something interesting. Like I said, we had news before that it had already launched and people in the country were already mandated to use it. However, if we have to wait until November, I guess I would say, let's say March 2019, it should be a clear indication if this is working, has worked. A lot of people are very skeptical. I read something else a couple of days ago that there are actually efforts in the United States, if I'm not mistaken, to actually try and stop this from even going forward. People in the Venezuelan parliament have also disagreed, saying that this should not happen as well. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. It's all quite fascinating, I guess, from afar, simply because I'm interested in the idea of a country or countries using cryptocurrencies. And we've had news many times before that the people, or rather analysts in the cryptocurrency market, have said that when countries do eventually launch their own cryptocurrencies, that is not only going to fail, but it's going to cause a huge exodus from fiat currencies in that country, and people will specifically start using cryptocurrencies that we have right now. Also interesting to note that within Venezuela, we've had a lot of news that a lot of people in the country are mining Bitcoin and Dash. Apparently Dash is like a very popular thing. They also released an app that is now available in Venezuela a couple of weeks ago, a week or two ago, that allows people to send Dash through text. I think the actual thing is called Dash Text. You can Google it. So I think this might have been a reason. I'm pretty sure the country knows that Dash is popular, and this may be why they copied it to try and say, oh, we're using the exact same thing. But not getting too deep into the politics and stuff like that, I'm going to assume this is probably not going to fare too well. And it would be interesting to hear if by next year we actually have one of the first countries who is interested in trying to adopt the cryptocurrency. And a lot of people have been saying that, Bitcoin will be the first majorly adopted cryptocurrency all around the world. It would be interesting if Dash was actually the first coin that was adopted by a number of other countries who are currently going through economic issues and hyperinflation. All very interesting to kind of think about, especially because this has been going on for quite some time. This has been since like January, I think we had news about this. And lo and behold, it's apparently going to, quote unquote, get started in November. Let's see. Next up, after nearly a year of acrimonious debate, the SIA blockchain is moving to give big mining companies the boot. David Forrick, founder and CEO of Nebulos, the for-profit company behind the $233 million distributed software protocol, told Coinbase that SIA will move ahead to enact a software change meant to block certain types of specialized mining hardware from the platform, allowing hardware manufactured by Nebulos subsidiary Obelisk to remain one of the only ways to collect the blockchain's lucrative cryptocurrency rewards, lucrative in quotes in my head. SIA has decided to fork to obsolete or brick the InnoSilicon and Bitmain hardware, Forrick said, referring to Obelisk rival manufacturers of applicable specific integrated circuits or ASIC mining equipment for SIA. In a draft statement on the decision acquired by CoinDesk, Forrick wrote that the company wants to embrace an ASIC monopoly, arguing the system-wide upgrade or hard fork is better than resisting ASICs altogether. That said, he added, we don't believe that a cryptocurrency needs to embrace a parasitic or abusive ASIC monopoly. Without reading any further, a lot of people have been turning their back on ASIC. I mean, part of the problem that we have now, and I think this is going to happen for a very long time, this is my own opinion, is that cryptocurrencies, the original idea of it, or rather the cryptocurrencies that can be mined, was that everyone should be able to mine them. You should be able to turn on your computer, open a platform, open something on your desktop and start mining cryptocurrencies the same as everyone else. But as time has gone on, we've seen that older networks are not as efficient anymore. People have started to up the game, and it went from, I think, CPU to GPU, or was it GPU to CPU? Mining on the computer, and then it went to like certain devices that you could plug into your computer, you could have on the side. And now we have a situation where we have entities creating mining hardware that is specifically for people who a lot of people don't even talk about this part. It's for people who can't afford it. A lot of these things aren't very cheap. If you watch other people on their videos on YouTube talking about that they're mining cryptocurrencies, they're mining Bitcoin, they're mining so-and-so, and they'll show off their mining rigs. And they're like, yeah, this one was 6,500. Yeah, this one was about 25,000. And I'm like, normal people don't have that amount of money. So a lot of people have been turning their backs on not only Bitmain, which I'll maybe get to if I remember, but also anything that gives other people an unfair edge when there shouldn't be an edge in the first place, if that makes sense. The entire idea is that everyone is on a level playing field. But if you have a 10-figure bank account, you can clearly afford a bit more than everyone else. So there are a lot of other coins, it's not just SIA, who are coming forward and are actually discussing multiple times now if they should actually not only, or if they should move to proof of stake to get away from proof of work, or if they should completely do a hard fork that will block ASIC mining because they say that it's unfair, or whatever kind of crypto politics you have in all of it. But this is going to continue happening for quite some time because crypto is now a very large money-making market, and everybody wants to try and find any type of edge that they can over anyone else who could potentially also be in the market as well. Next up, the Wall Street Journal created and then destroyed its own cryptocurrency in a bid to understand the industry, the publication revealed in a mini documentary on the 3rd of October. WSJ Coin, which journalist Steve Ruosliolo hoped would shed light on the emerging crypto economy, while providing real use cases for the journalism industry, made it to the grand total of 2 used units. Amount of around 150 physical Wall Street Journal coins were further distributed to the audience of a panel discussing the concept at the publication's D-Live annual technology conference in Hong Kong. Speaking on the panel were remittance services BitPesa CEO Elizabeth Roslilello and former Ripple CTO Stephen Thomas, who both saw considerable potential in a journalism-based crypto asset. They said, if you lower the cost of moving money around and the entire economy changes, how do I pay for a news article online? Changes as well. Without getting too deep into it, depending on where you read this story, it was actually quite interesting. The Wall Street Journal said that they created their own cryptocurrency and then destroyed it. Like I said, depending on where you read, it was written that they destroyed it because apparently it broke not SEC rules, but there was no regulatory framework for them to be able to do so, and therefore they had to destroy it. I feel like, personally, this was created because they were trying, my own opinion, they were trying to get into the cryptocurrency game. It didn't really pan out like they expected, and then they said that they destroyed it. You know, it could be one of two things, whatever the case might be. I have a strong feeling, and I dread this moment, that not only are we going to get journalism coins or like journalism website coins, but there's going to be so many of them that they're going to not be used. I'm sure you may have noticed if you go on any major news sites, you know, the more mainstream quote unquote ones, depending on where you get your news from, you may have noticed, especially if you get it online, after around 10 articles that you try reading, you then have to pay a fee. If you read 5 articles, they ask you, can you please pay $9.99 a month? Can you please do this? You know, we are doing so-and-so. We're trying to get your money. We're trying to blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure you've noticed it. I've definitely noticed it. I've stopped using a number of normal websites or traditional websites because I can no longer get my news after 5 or 6 articles. So I have a feeling that not only is this going to be adopted, but it's going to have a different coin per different website, and they're going to expect that people will want to use their cryptocurrency to pay for their news that they can also, I mean, it's just, like I said, this is kind of why I dread the moment, because I have a feeling there won't be any coordination amongst them. Everyone is going to be like a every crypto for itself type situation, and then none of them will work out, instead of realizing that if they all work together and created their own cryptocurrency that could be then used across all of the platforms, or simply just adopting Bitcoin and Ethereum, there probably wouldn't be much of an issue. But human greed is a factor in a lot of things, especially when it comes to creating your own cryptocurrency. So like I said, I'm going to assume that we're going to have news in the next year from this moment, where a lot of I assume by this time next year, the world will have changed dramatically as far as like cryptocurrency. None of them are going to pan out, and then eventually they're finally going to announce that they're going to just accept Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other coin, and that's as far as it's going to go. But I still have my own idea as to why they created it. They say they tried to, you know, learn a bit more about the industry. I don't really believe that, at least not myself. So this is going to be ongoing for quite some time. Shapeshift has issued a stinging rebuke of a Wall Street Journal investigative article that claimed the crypto exchange was used by criminals to launder money. In a blog post published on Monday, CEO Eric Voorhees said the news outlet report showed a misunderstanding of how cryptocurrencies work, and that the article claims were factually incorrect. Calling the claims factually incorrect and deceptive, Voorhees wrote that his exchange had been working with the journal for nearly half a year, but the final story omitted relevant information and showed that the authors did not have a significant understanding of blockchain and our platform in particular. The article, published on Friday, follows an investigation by the journal into cryptocurrency exchanges. The authors conclude that some $88 million was laundered through 46 different exchanges over 2 years, with $9 million going through Shapeshift in that period. This was the largest sum sent through any US-based exchange. The report stated, though registered in Switzerland, Shapeshift operates out of the state of Colorado. I touched a bit, I think, of this on like a couple of days ago. There was something I mentioned about this entire thing happening. What's happening is, in my opinion, and this is only going to accelerate because I can already see that it's happening in a number of different ways, the largest financial players in the entire world are now desperate to try to get into the cryptocurrency space. And what they're doing is they're creating some type of a smear campaign against the crypto exchanges that we already have. And this has happened amongst all of them, except for, I want to say, Gemini and Coinbase. Every other crypto exchange that we have right now, especially Binance as well, they've come under fire over the last couple of months, let's say 6 to 8 weeks, 2 months, specifically because people are claiming that money is being laundered through them. You know, terrorists are using them. They don't have proper information. There's no proper know your customer laws on top of these things. We don't know who's using them. Therefore, there must have been a certain amount of money that was going through these exchanges that must have been illegal. Therefore, something illegal is going on, and therefore your exchange is illegal. I have a feeling a lot of them are going to, people are going to try to get these exchanges shut down. And this is why I said, you know, even though it's operates registered in Switzerland, excuse me, and that they operate in the state of Colorado, I assume in the next 2-3 months, if this continues to go on, they're going to not only leave the states, but probably never return to the states. This is why we've also had news over the last couple of days as well from the other crypto exchanges that they are, and also crypto funds who are operating in the United States have been receiving subpoenas from the U.S. government and from the SEC and from the CFTC saying that you have not registered with us. Something is wrong. We're going to shut you down, blah, 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 blah. And I think this is not one part of this is detrimental to the cryptocurrency space for me. I told you my feelings on that before and where I think crypto is headed. And I mean as far as like other countries. But it's a bit of a shame that these things are happening, that like these obvious smear campaigns are happening. I guess it's all part of the game that they're playing. I'm pretty sure Shapeshift will continue to be around and thrive for quite some time. I don't see Shapeshift really going anywhere. But yeah, let's move on. Yeah, so US-based crypto exchange platform Poloniex will remove margin and lending platforms for its customers in the United States and delist 3 digital assets, according to an announcement published on the 3rd of October. They talk about who they are, blah, blah, blah. According to the statement, the exchange will remove its margin and lending products for U.S.-based customers by the end of the year. Poloniex explains that the move has been taken to ensure the exchange complies with regulatory requirements in every jurisdiction. The announcement did not refer directly to any specific regulations. This is right on the back of this as well. They're slightly related, if you will. The U.S. has not given any clarity of things that are actually happening, and a lot of exchanges who already have a base in another country around the world have been receiving documents saying that why have you not told us what you're doing? Why have you not come forward when we gave you the chance to do so before? And therefore, you have to shut down a number of your products that you were offering. I told you guys, I thought a week ago, what's going to end up happening is that the U.S. is going to start from scratch. I think the U.S. is going to have Bittrex, Gemini, Circle, and Coinbase, and then everything else will kind of bloom from there. But a lot of other exchanges that we've had for quite some time are going to be stopping their operations in the U.S. People were asking how that's going to happen. They will tell you 30 days before you have to take your money off the exchange because we are shutting down for U.S. customers. And this is looking more and more likely as the weeks continue to go on. But like, when you have the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ trying to get into the cryptocurrency space as well and trying to make their own crypto exchanges, this has to be expected. I assume, big money is behind in the wings, in the background. They're standing somewhere and they're making moves so that they position themselves to be able to get all of the profits as opposed to the other players who would also then take profits from them. Yeah. Next up, Coinbase's leadership expansion continued on Tuesday as it added Charles Schwab advisor Chris Dodds to its board of directors and tapped former Instinet CEO Jonathan Kellner to be its new managing director of the institutional coverage group. In one blog post, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong introduced Dodds, who sits on the board of directors at Charles Schwab, one of the largest brokerage firms and banks in the United States. Dodds is also a senior equity advisor for the firm and has spent more than 3 decades in the financial industry to date. We also had news 2-3 weeks ago that Coinbase had also, I think they recently hired 100 new people or something like that who were actually like former bankers and stuff like that. They're gearing up for something very big. I think it's it's comical to me, or rather it looks very weird, and I'm sure I can't be the only one who sees this as well, that there are all these acquisitions and all these new people who are joining Coinbase and other cryptocurrency exchanges and other things that have to do with crypto, but prices continue to still go down. It's all very odd, but this is the major news, as Charles Schwab is incredibly large in the United States, and the fact that one of theirs has now moved over, at least slightly, to Coinbase. Apparently big things are going to happen in the future, because they haven't also been hiring people who are like former advisors to presidents and stuff like that, and former people in the SEC and CFTC as well, if I'm not mistaken, who pretty much make the regulatory rules in America. So they are gearing up for something very large, and yeah. Without reading into the entire thing, Bitmain are the people who make the ASIC, the thing that we were talking about before with the SIA cryptocurrency, somewhere around here. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. They're the people who make the ASIC chips, or whatever they're called, to be able to mine cryptocurrencies. Bitmain is incredibly powerful, probably a bit more powerful than they should be. We know that they control a majority stake in the Bitcoin mining thing, and now they have announced that they're going public. They're trying to, or are in the process of launching an IPO, their initial public offering, to go public on the actual stock exchange in China. And a lot of people are wondering and worried. They're asking, you know, if you have, I'll put it to you this way. People are asking, you are a major cryptocurrency company, whether you believe it or not, and you are mining Bitcoin and you're mining Ethereum as well. Why not have a token sale for you to go public, as opposed to you going public on a centralized, quote unquote, type of exchange through another country? People are wondering what their motives actually are. Obviously, it's profit in some way, but they're asking, why would the largest miners of cryptocurrencies that we have on the planet not be more? I don't know. It's all a very difficult question. Clearly, they want to make more money, and the article actually goes into, like, is this going to be a good investment? The future of Bitmain is potentially already secured, because as they are in China, and it's believed, allegedly, that China obviously knows that they're in China, and they want to do everything that they can to make sure that they not only remain in China, but that they remain the strongest miners of Bitcoin in the entire world. As a lot of this, it borders on conspiracy theory, but if you understand how governments work, it kind of is just a normal assumption that even though China doesn't allow Bitcoin to be traded in the country, the fact that they now have, or are in control of, a large part of the network with the largest cryptocurrency in the entire world that could be receiving worldwide adoption, they probably don't want to let that go. But then it's also like, you're tied up to the government. What is Bitmain really doing? What's the point of it? No one really knows. This is major news. I'm going to assume that we're also going to have some type of crazy news as well when they finally do officially go public, when the IPO does launch, and when we have like a proper valuation for how much the company is worth, and who is also going to start throwing in money as well. Because if they end up being like a multi-billion-dollar company, corporation, mining, whatever you want to call it, and they get enough backing behind them, I can only assume that their expansion is going to be absolutely incredible, which then leads you to, like, I guess, like, ideas of how big they're going to become, because I don't see Bitmain really going anywhere. And if crypto does become this dominating world factor in the next 10 years, then you have to wonder, how big is Bitmain going to be should we have a Bitcoin price over $1 million? It's all something to keep in your head, at least for the, I was going to say short term, I guess even long term. Okay. Ethereum core developers announced a delay in plans to launch Constantinople. Ethereum's upcoming system-wide upgrade on the testnet Ropsten on Thursday. As explained in a tweet by Peter Lagley, team lead at the Ethereum Foundation, the main reason for the delay is to offer more time for clients, the individuals and businesses running nodes or computing servers supporting the Ethereum network, to address a vulnerability found in one of the 5 Constantinople upgrades. In addition to this, the delay would also give space for Ropsten users testing other Ethereum projects such as off-chain scaling solution Raiden to prepare for the possible network split that could occur as a result of implementing Constantinople. Yes and no, and I'm going to get you to know exactly what I mean in a couple of seconds. Ethereum is having a problem scaling. There's a delay for their fork, which is fine because they have explained why they're going to do it. Ethereum is, I think, actively working their behinds off. This is the nicest way to say it, because I think they see what is coming. And because we've had news from so many other outlets that the market has completely bottomed and that a lot of people have turned bearish on Ethereum and are no longer advocates for the Ethereum system, I think my estimation is that we have October, November, December. By the end of December, I'm going to say we should have some very significant news from the Ethereum team that they're looking to hopefully start updating things, because the current estimates right now lead us to think that even with the Constantinople update that we probably won't see anything significant until 2020 on Ethereum. And on that same exact note, there are not a bet per se, but a lot of people who are creating chips in order to be able to mine Ethereum and stuff like that have come to a consensus, and they believe that Ethereum is not going to scale anytime, or rather is not going to implement their next update for proof of stake anytime soon, and that they would be moving from the proof of work where you use all the computers to proof of stake, which would make all these computers completely obsolete, and therefore you would be able to just stake your own coins on your computer, and therefore this is how new coins would be created. However, people have, like I said, come together and they have decided that this is not going to happen anytime soon, and therefore a lot of people are starting to go forward with their plans to spend millions of dollars to create new chips that are going to help to mine Ethereum even more effectively. It's a bit crazy. Crypto is just one big money thing right now, but I heard something like this a couple of months ago as well. A lot of people are not of the mindset that Ethereum is going to be scaling or proof of staking or anything really anytime soon. And they're pretty much gearing up to try and get as much Ethereum as they possibly can before this actual update ends up happening. But I mean, if we don't get any proper news of these things happening, 24 months is a very long time for an update. And a lot of people are, I mean, Ethereum is always going to be around. So it's only logical that people are going to try and do the best to mine as much as possible. But the fact that people are thinking now that this won't happen for a long time and therefore they can spend millions to create other things that would help them mine even more Ethereum is a little interesting. At least that's how I think about it. Last up. There's a game called Fortnite, which I do not play. Apparently, there is a cheat code out there for people who are, I don't even know what the cheat code does. When you implement this cheat code, apparently it is actually Bitcoin malware that pretty much mines Bitcoin on your device while you are playing the game. Apparently, a number of people have already been affected by this. A lot of other people do not know that they're affected by this because people are always trying to find a way to get ahead in the game. And lo and behold, you are actually helping other people get ahead monetarily if you have downloaded this cheat code. So long story short, make sure to look out for downloading anything. I mean, just at least how I feel about it, just play the game, just have fun. People always look for other ways to slide by or get ahead of other people, and this ends up happening. This is kind of how it is. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Some very interesting news floating around out there. I mean, it's only going to... Crypto is still developing, and I always wonder, you know, we get all this news of how crazy these things are and kind of what happens on the surface, but I wonder exactly what's happening in the background, because I assume that some of the stuff that's happening in crypto right now, we can't even begin to imagine, like, how much money is actually floating around back there. Like, if you think about certain... there was something I was talking about before, and it had to do with, like... I guess, like, not real estate so much, but like the like assets and stuff like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I always wonder, these things already have big money behind them, like hundreds of billions of dollars of worth of people who are trying to make sure that certain things, continue to exist. The news that we get about cryptocurrencies is always, I feel like, very surface level. Like, we get what we're fed, if that makes any sense. But I wonder who the big players are behind the scenes. There are definitely billionaires behind the scenes who are paying attention to the cryptocurrency space, who have been buying up maybe 100 Bitcoin per week or something absolutely insane like that. And I wonder what they're doing to make sure that crypto thrives, or if they have a specific coin that they like. That's what I've always wondered about as well. You may have noticed like a lot of investors have definitely come forward talking about specific coins and how much they like them. So I always wonder how much is floating around in the background to push up the value of certain coins. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you once again for watching and or listening, depending on how you absorb this information. Thank you once again, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.